Hey everyone, in this video, we're going to welcome in Molly Alar, a senior consultant for Parametrix, who's going to be presenting on a case study for the Industrial Stormwater General Permit. In Molly's presentation, she's going to talk about a facility that has experienced multiple benchmark exceedances and how her and her team helped them get back into compliance. One note before we get started is that Molly has changed many of the key details from this facility as well as their name to keep things anonymous. Let's go ahead and jump into Molly's presentation.
So our case study 2 is a facility called Forklift and Spoon, Inc. Forklift and Spoon is a food manufacturing facility. Food is manufactured in this one main large manufacturing building right here. All food manufacturing is conducted indoors inside this building. However, packaged foods are transferred to and from trucks via these 2 sliding garage doors on the side. In the back of the building, there is also 2 liquid transfer ports where a truck pulls up and hooks up a hose to these outdoor ports and transfers liquid material into containers located inside the warehouse building. So this outdoor material handling and liquid transfer triggers the need for an ISGP. The facility's ISGP permitted boundary, you can kind of see it with the fence here, but the permitted boundary includes the main warehouse building. It includes a small maintenance shop over here. All maintenance activities are conducted indoors inside this maintenance shop. No maintenance is conducted outside. The boundary includes a big employee customer parking lot. And then over by the maintenance shop, there is a truck storage and parking area. So stormwater at this facility collects in the customer employee parking lot and the truck storage area. Roof runoff from the main manufacturing building and the maintenance shop discharges via pipes underground to the sanitary sewer. So there's no roof runoff in their stormwater discharge. Stormwater that collects in the parking lot and the truck parking area conveys to multiple catch basins, and they convey to one catch basin. Let's just say it's this catch basin right here. This catch basin is their one discharge point off site. It's also their one sample point. So this catch basin conveys out here off site to the street to the city municipal stormwater system. And from this area of the city municipal system, it discharges to an impaired 303D listed water body. So when we started helping the site out, we conducted a compliance assessment of the facility to review if it was in compliance with all ISGP related requirements. To do this, we looked at past sampling data, we reviewed their SWIP, we looked at all ISGP documentation, we reviewed their conveyance, their stormwater conveyance system, and we did a site visit. So when we did all that and assessed the site, we found a handful of familiar issues. We saw TSS effluent limit exceedances. They have this TSS effluent limit because they discharged to a 303D listed water body. They had copper and zinc benchmark exceedances, enough that they had triggered a level 3 corrective action. There were turbidity benchmark exceedances, visible oil and grease gene exceedances. There were missed samples that was due to high employee turnover. There were some specific maintenance challenges with this site since the majority of the stormwater drainage is an employee customer parking lot. The site, it's difficult for them to manage oil leaks from these vehicles. Also, it's hard to get employees and customers to move their vehicles to do maintenance. Also, the site is not entirely paved. That truck parking and storage area I mentioned was gravel. Also, the SWIP was pretty outdated, and there were unclear water quality portal requirements, meaning that we found the parameters in their DMR water quality portal were inconsistent with what's required in the permit for their specific NAICS code. So now that we've identified these problems, what did we do? We updated their SWIP. We also gave them conducted some targeted training, specifically with their pollution prevention team and with individuals that would be responsible for maintaining the BMPs. We reached out to Ecology to correct the parameters in the water quality portal and also some additional background on the facility. They were not implementing any operational BMPs. So we submitted a modification of permit coverage request to Ecology to implement operational BMPs instead of jumping in to a level 3 treatment BMP because they had triggered a level 3 with those copper and zinc exceedances. So the basis of our request there was to request if we that we were able to assess the effectiveness of operational BMPs before jumping right into treatment. The operational BMPs we implemented included installing catch basin filters with oil absorbent pillows. We increased monthly vacuum sweeping to once per week. It was previously once per month. We increased stormwater catch basin and conveyance cleaning to twice a year. We implemented some targeted hand sweeping, specifically around the catch basins. The facility also started a internal maintenance log to help employees that were conducting sweeping to sign off to make sure they were actually doing that. We added additional trash bins, and then a metals bin and some tires were stored outside, and those got moved indoors. An additional improvement the facility did, which was not triggered by a corrective action, was paving that unpaved truck storage area because we anticipated that gravel in the area was contributing to high TSS and turbidity concentrations. So after implementing these BMPs, the stormwater analytical results were looking really good, much better than they were before. And the site was meeting all stormwater benchmarks and that TSS effluent limit for at least a year, probably longer. But then 2 quarters of visible oil and grease sheen. So now the facility's triggered a level 2 corrective action for visible oil and grease. Again, this is a parking lot. The majority of the drainage area is a parking lot, so it's really difficult to control those oil leaks. So they definitely had to implement something structural to control this oil and grease sheen. So the facility installed for their level 2 corrective action, the facility installed 90-degree downturn elbows on the discharge outlet pipes of multiple catch basins. So the catch basins that we selected were a couple catch basins more downstream in their conveyance system. This was to sort of get the most bang for your buck. So instead of installing elbows in every catch basin, we just installed in a couple most downstream. So the way the elbows kind of work, there's a little diagram right here. Stormwater flows through the inlet pipe or through the top of the catch basin grate, and oil and grease floats on the surface, and cleaner water discharges through the bottom of the elbow and out. And the oil and grease is confined to the catch basin. It's important to know this is really most effective if you clean your catch basin sumps often, because you don't want this oily sludge and catch basin sediment to get up here and start discharging through the bottom of your elbow. And this facility had already implemented catch basin and conveyance cleaning twice per year. So this worked out pretty well for them. Here's some photos here on the right. This is an elbow pre-install and then an elbow installed, and each elbow was sized to fit the dimensions of each specific catch basin. So after these operational BMPs were implemented, the facility saw some really good results. So they saw about an 89% TSS reduction, an 81% copper reduction, an 83% zinc reduction, and then about a 62% turbidity reduction. I quantified these reductions by comparing the average of all sample results collected prior to BMP implementation with the average from approximately 2-ish years of subsequent sampling data. And also the level 2 elbows, after they were installed, the facility saw no visible oil and grease sheen in about 2-ish years of subsequent samples. So I really like this case study, and I chose it because I think it shows that relatively simple site-specific BMPs tailored to how a facility actually operates can help bring a facility back into compliance without treatment or more elaborate operational changes. That being said, though, the stormwater drainage area of this facility is predominantly a parking lot, and it's relatively small, right, compared to other industrial facilities. So for many sites, only operational BMPs probably won't be sufficient. But no matter your facility, you always want to get your operational BMPs dialed in to improve the effectiveness of your upstream structural or treatment BMPs. So using this 89% TSS reduction as an example, if you can reduce your upstream stormwater TSS concentration by 89%, it's really going to help the effectiveness of your treatment or structural BMPs downstream. It's also probably going to help save some maintenance costs too. All right. So that wraps up our case studies. I hope some of this info resonated with you all and was helpful and was able to provide you maybe some tools you can use at your own facilities.